So next, we want to make this really an interactive session as well. So we want to open this up to any questions. Please do shout them out. The cameras are all on. Harry's made sure of it. So please do ask your questions. If not, I've got a few.
I think we've got one from Mark in the Q&A, Gersh. I don't know if
Right.
I don't know if you can see that. It's in your top bar of the Teams chat. How do you evidence that the work is done? Is that via completion photo?
Mark, is that for anyone in particular? I can do it from my perspective.
Hi, sorry, no, it's just you showed a photograph of the defect. I'm just trying to work out, when the work is completed, is that then sort of rephotographed so you can prove it's actually been completed?
Yeah, I didn't show you that bit as well. So what we've got at the end is that we would need to add a picture into the system, and the system will say that I need a picture, please, and it won't let you move on. And once that's in, it goes to the tenant to say, "Are you satisfied?" And that's built into what I was showing you at the start as well. It won't let you finish unless it's got a picture.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's all I wanted to know was the completion photograph. That's all I need to know, really.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
We also had a question in from Paul. Is it a driver for renewed focus on knowledge and information management?
Well, Adrian, if you want to go first, and then Paul, if you want to jump back in afterwards. I know you had a question as well, so over to you, Adrian.
Oh, hi, everybody. My question is for Rosie, really. I know you've been doing stuff around kind of the environmental sensors and stuff that I've seen before, and I love the whole context of kind of the preventative before having the sensors out there, so that we're kind of already informed with our own dashboards. But it's very expensive, these solutions to kind of get them out there. But the one of the issues is that we've got new software that is allowing us to do video calling with the residents. So that's kind of then meeting some of the obligations for the investigation process. And I'm concerned that then that sort of is kind of shortchanging our residents in the context of, a more thorough investigation rather than, just a video call. I was wondering what you all thought about that and about whether there are other technologies that other people are using.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to answer that, but I think Cully had his hand up first. So
no, you go, Rosie, you go, and then I'll jump in if from a litigious point of view more so than anything. But yeah, please go ahead.
If I go backwards, then in terms of being shortchanged, I think it's just got to be tailored to the person. And I've used the example recently that with GPs, and GPs have this sort of technology where you can send information or photos through an app or an online account. And a lot of people, when they hear about that, especially older generations, say this is awful, I can't see my GP. But the whole point is that doesn't have to be for everyone, and no one's forced to use it. But for me, it's perfect because I'm busy, I'm working, and if my doctor can say, it's a very routine issue, can you come into the surgery out of hours, just pop your arm in a blood pressure machine and give that to the desk, and then can you send a photo? Perfect, because I haven't had to take any time off work. Me not having to take up 10 minutes of a doctor's time means that older person has 10 minutes of my doctor's time because I've been able to use technology, and I think that the same applies in housing. So as long as it's used appropriately and no one's forced down a route, I think it can just help people in the long term, as long as it's used appropriately and we're not trying to diagnose really complex issues and issues coming through multiple flats by photo. But in lots of cases, it is easy to resolve through those desktop investigations. In terms of environmental monitoring, most people who know me or follow anything I do know that I love it, and I'm very much a believer in it. But pragmatically, I think for a lot of social housing providers, it's not going to be reasonable or affordable to put it everywhere. My approach was always use it for your complex cases where your spot inspections aren't picking up the issues, but combine it with other stuff. So you can just get basic hygrometers that you can send out to tenants so that they can see what's going on. You can get Bluetooth data logging hygrometers where you can capture maybe 3 months of data during in-home inspections, and then have a few control properties. So if you've got homes that have issues, put a few monitors in similar streets and identical homes so you can start to use that data sensibly. You don't have to put it across the whole stock, but if you've got 5% that you're looking at, you're going to start learning an incredible amount, and then you can filter that out to other homes, and other tenants can benefit from it without having to have the massive investment in that technology.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks. Sorry, and just to add on to that, we're doing some desktop inspections at our end at the moment as well, and one problem we have experienced, and I figured it to be pivotal to share, would be getting slammed by some district judges regarding the evidence base. So if we are, what I'm proposing, if we are looking to go down this route, just ensuring that, again, everything that you'd capture if you are on site in physical person is as closely replicated if you are doing it digitally or remotely, whatever that looks like, because again, it all comes back to the evidence base that we're then presenting to either prove our case or disprove our case, depending on which side of the fence you sit on. So again, just my personal experience of a case that we experienced at court, where the evidence was brought into question because it was effectively inspected remotely. So that's the only point I had to raise on there. Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, thank you both very much. Really helpful. I love the technology as well, but for me it's about whatever we can do to be proactive, rather than kind of reactive, and that's the opportunities for us. But yeah, like you say, Rosie, not everybody can afford that, and we use kind of data loggers, and we use hygrometers and all of that as well. But it's a massive challenge for all of us. We've got so many properties akin to to Gully and Birmingham. We've got 80,000 properties. So.
Yeah, totally agree. And naturally, I would say this, but we've got to start using technology a lot better in the sector as well. It's out there. We should be using it. I think videos are an excellent way of doing it. We're going to start incorporating that in our system. I think we've really got to do it. If it speeds things up, why not?
Yeah.
So, any other questions?
I think we had one from Paul Gersh.
Paul, or do you want to read that out?
Is this the driver for a renewed focus on knowledge and information management?
Yeah, personally, I think it is. And the work that Rosie's doing, I think, and others in the sector, I think it's time we started sharing what the good practice is. As the sector that's made for collaboration, it's really needed. I know Rosie does a lot of work around this as well, but I think we need more events like this. We need maybe some more in-depth events that will share good practice, share technology, and share process, which I think could create key areas here. Rosie, I don't know if you've got anything else and to say on that.
Yeah, it's kind of the same really, but I definitely agree that knowledge and information management is a really key part of it, and nearly everything that we've talked about links. And when you're talking about, for example, the system that you showed us at the beginning, when we're talking about good technical diagnostic scripting, when you have good information coming in and you store it in an effective way, it means you can analyze it and you can use it to then inform your processes moving forward. And the more information you collect, the more potential you have to improve things. But so many of us for years either haven't been collecting it very well, and it's just a report that says damp and mold in our room, which doesn't mean anything and you can't do anything with it, or we hoard data and don't realize what this gold mine of information we have at our fingertips. But again, it's where technology may help. We already know that there's systems out there that use artificial intelligence to mine through your information and kind of go, this is all probably wrong, so do something with that, and here's some insights. So we don't have to rely on having that incredibly specific expertise within organizations. The technology is coming there, but there's no point hoarding data and doing nothing with it.
Fantastic, thank you. I think Asha had a question as well. Asha, do you want to sort of go through it? That'd be useful.
Yeah, thank you so much. Asha Patel, Interim Head of Repairs and Maintenance at Birmingham City Council. Thank you, Cully. Fabulous job. And thank you, Rosie. I'm literally going to go, I want the diagnostic, I want the process and stuff. So, really appreciate all the intel that's being shared. I've put it in the Q&A, but then I dropped it in the chat because I wasn't quite sure which was the best place. So I just wanted to reach out to colleagues on the call in terms of how are we all thinking of coping with the definition of both significant and emergency hazard, because obviously it says, you know, it's the imminent risk of harm or the likelihood of harm. And the other thing is the person-centric decision, you know, because imminent risk of harm for somebody with vulnerability is well different from imminent risk of harm for somebody without that vulnerability. Can I just reach out, please, and ask how we're all thinking of managing that in a diagnostic, in a situation where you've got a call centre who's trying to ask all those questions, right? And then not be inundated, but also not denigrate our responsibility of what we should be doing. Help.
Rosie, I'll let you answer it, then I've got some views on this as well.
Yeah, I'm going to be, I'm probably going to be a bit more controversial with this because I don't actually work for social housing anymore, or public service. So, but hopefully it comes across in the right way. I think my personal view has always been that I don't think that vulnerability makes that much of a difference to timescales.
Thank you.
If you are a good landlord and you've got a good practice. I don't think that getting things done any quicker generally makes anyone safer if they've got vulnerabilities. I think good process for managing vulnerabilities is more about understanding and changing the way that you do things, and not the time scales for when you do things. Unless there's very, very, very specific things, you know, if someone has such a chronic respiratory condition and they're on oxygen, it affects how you're going to do everything in their home anyway, even if it's not related. So my view is that we just need to be better in the first place of listening. I think a lot of us have been guilty of hearing a phone call and someone saying, I've got this vulnerability, but not necessarily recording it or putting it in a bit of putting it somewhere to say this person has dementia or this person has a condition, but never actually thinking to ask, well, how does that affect you? And how can we change our service? And I think, and the same with risk assessment. Sometimes we say, this is a risk, this person has a mental health condition. But we don't talk about their triggers, and we don't talk about how we can behave, and we don't talk about how we know whether they're in a negative cycle of that mental health process. And I think if we were better at doing that routinely, and our training as organisations was consistent, it's just about how we do things, not when we do them.
Thank you.
Yeah, totally agree. And my take on this as well is that when a repair comes in, a request comes in, that information should be at hand. You shouldn't be routing for information. You should know this person has a disability. You should know that there's a respiratory condition, someone is living in that property. So that should be on hand. And what I was trying to implement in our system was that should be there. Like you say, you're not going to do anything differently, but it might be the case that if someone's got a really chronic condition or Alzheimer's, you would look at some additional support potentially. So information for me is important for that as well, really.
I think we've got one more from Paul. Just wondering how providers are planning to deal with the challenge of contractors as agents and their responsibility to report under Awaa'Bs law, e.g., if they are undertaking a separate repair.
Now, I think with this.
I was going to say I can pick that up from our point of view without going into sort of contract specific details. What I do know is with the partners that we're working with, they've already set their stalls up well in advance to have dedicated teams ready and prepared to for the potential influx of cases that we may well receive come October. So from that point of view, in respect to the reporting, again, a lot of it is forecasting at the moment. We don't know what it will actually look like in day-to-day practice, but we do know that there has been significant work that's been done our end, especially with readying dedicated task teams, if you like, in preparation for Awaa'Bs law for when it goes live.
Adrian, did you want to come in on this as well?
Yeah, so thanks, Gully, and very much the same from our perspective. We are, working with our contract or outsourced partners as well in terms of them having kind of dedicated resources and stuff, because whilst I operate a kind of very much a kind of a DLO model, in-house model, we do outsource 30% of the work. So the partners need to be geared up and need to be applying the same processes that we're applying in a partner in approach and collaborative approach. So they need to understand that they are equally responsible for all of our kind of residents, safeguarding and providing the data in a timely context.
fantastic. I think we're getting towards the end of the session.
Yeah.
Only one thing that I want to pick up on this here is that as a sector, we really need to start thinking about the skill shortage in social housing. Who's going to do the work? Have we got the surveyors? And I put a post out a couple of weeks ago saying, actually, we might have to start looking at a bit of a movement to get people into the sector, getting them trained up, getting physical people doing the work, maybe even treat them as key workers. So that's something that is really worth looking out for. I know we're running out of time here as well. It's been a fantastic session. Some of the workflows that Rose has given, the work that Cully's been doing as well, is fantastic. This will all be shared just to let you know. And given the importance of this event as well, we might even do a follow-up session on this as well in person. So thank you to Rosie and Cully and for Harry and the team for organising this as well. Like you say, our aim really is to disseminate good information, and we'll be doing regular events. So thank you very much. Thanks for joining us, and have a great weekend. Harry, do you want to just finish up?
Yeah, just on that one, we're going to be sending out a slide deck. We've got AI recording this, so we'll condense all the information, put it in a slide deck for you guys, just so it's readable. If you want to share it with teams that couldn't come, more than happy for you guys to do that. If anyone has any other follow-up questions, I'll put my email in the chat below, but obviously we will be sending that out to you anyway. So yeah, thanks so much for joining, guys.
Thank you, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.